Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So this video is a bit of an experiment to see how you guys respond to it. I want to create a new series now that the manga analysis is over, where I can go back through Berserk and pick out specific chapters that I think are worth discussing again, or chapters that made a huge impact on me or other people or just in the series in general. This won't be in any order, and I can encompass chapters from any arc. A little bit of a retrospective, if you will. We can discuss why the chapter stands out, what makes it so iconic, and why it resonates with so many people. So if you guys like this idea and want to see more, let me know in the comments, and also comment what chapter you'd like to see a specific video on next, and whichever one gets the highest amount of upvotes, I'll do that chapter next. Also, if you're not subbed to the channel yet, please consider it, as it would mean a whole lot to me, and it's actually been scientifically proven that after subscribing to my channel, you have a 1 in 5 better chance of escaping the eclipse with only a missing eye and arm. It might be worth a shot for you. Chapter 22 of Berserk, entitled Campfire of Dreams, takes place about midway through the Golden Age arc in Volume 7 of the manga, and really stands out to many fans as one of the defining chapters of the arc, both in the transitions of the mindset for Guts and Casca, but also in the symbolism it uses to describe the dreams of all the Hawk members and how it relates to Griffith's dream. The setup is very simple. The Band of the Hawk set up camp and enjoy a night of peace before embarking towards their next battle. It's late at night and the camp is illuminated with individual bonfires. Guts sits on a hillside away from the socializing, pondering to himself about his life and his future. Then Casca arrives by his side, the two of them just having shared an unforgettable experience of falling off a cliff together and surviving a battle involving 100 enemy soldiers. Guts still injured from the intensity of it all, and Casca rubs some medicine onto his shoulders given to her by Judo. As neither character knows, but we the audience do, the medicine is actually made from elf dust, and even more specifically, this came from Puck, whom Guts would eventually team up with. Poetic irony, perhaps, or just causality. Guts mentions how he doesn't want Casca to worry about how he protected her from the 100 soldiers, and that it's just what he knows to do, swinging his sword and nothing else. That it is simply within his nature, and there's nothing more to it than that. I personally only half believe Guts' words here. To me, Guts fighting to protect Casca during that battle was an insight into Guts' true self and what his future would eventually become. He doesn't realize it yet himself, and he doesn't know how to process it, but I believe, and again, this is just my opinion and my interpretation, I believe the reason that he pushed himself to fight so hard and survive that specific fight was the very fact that it was for more than himself. He needed to win because of Casca. He ultimately placed her happiness over his own. He allowed her time to escape and wanted her to get back to Griffith, the man at the time she loved more than anyone. Guts' future would eventually become even more centered on protecting Casca, especially when she loses the ability to defend herself. Guts would eventually even be known as the Protector of Casca. Guts doesn't understand it yet, but placing her needs in front of his own gave his fighting a purpose. He wasn't fighting just to survive, he was fighting for Casca. And Casca senses this, but is also conflicted in her feelings here. She had spent the last 3 years being abrasive and envious of Guts, seeing him as nothing more than a meaningless fighter and a brute, a mad dog, and for taking her spot as the right-hand man to Griffith. But this is the chapter that Casca starts to see Guts as something more, that there's something beneath the surface that she admires but isn't quite able to put her finger on it. And I like how both characters kind of know, kind of have a feeling they know something is here, but neither of them can place it. Guts even understands that the way he's been fighting all these years, just to survive with no end goal, that his life is somehow inferior to everyone he surrounds himself with, especially Griffith, that they all have reasons for why they are fighting, and here is where we get into the symbolism of what the Campfire of Dreams means. He mentions how Gaston dreams of opening a clothing shop, how Nicole wants to become a high-ranking officer so he can ask a girl to marry him, and more and more. Looking over the hilltop at each bonfire, each one represents the hopes and dreams of one of the soldiers. They are all here for a different purpose, and they are all fighting to reach that goal someday. But gathered here together, all the dreams sort of become one, from each individual flame going into a giant inferno, which is Griffith's dream, to have his own kingdom, a dream so large it swallows all of the smaller dreams within its wake. Not unlike how once the eclipse happens and all the Hawk members are killed, those dreams are extinguished and all absorbed into Griffith's for good. No flame was strong enough or stable enough to withstand the inferno of Griffith's ultimate dreams and ambitions. And even worse, Griffith's dream would not be possible without sucking the life from all of the other dreams. The irony going even further, where Guts doesn't feel like he has a flame here, and Guts is the one to escape the eclipse. And here during this chapter, Guts says that his flame is not here. Now, if you ask me, I would say that Casca is his flame. However, Guts does not recognize this in the here and now, and instead he sees himself as just a passerby, letting himself get warmed by their flames momentarily, and that his purpose, whatever it is not here. Guts confides in Casca, telling her a little about Gambino and how the only useful thing he learned was the sword. Immediately, he slightly regrets saying it out loud, but Casca is able to listen judgment-free, though she soon puts the pieces together of what Guts is thinking, of leaving the Band of the Hawk, to find his own dream and to find his own purpose, a reason for fighting beyond just fighting, not realizing that that reason is right here beside him. But before Casca is able to speak up, before she's able to form the words that she wants to say or ask the question she wants to ask, the other Hawk members rush up and tell them that Griffith has returned to the camp. To which Guts smiles back at Casca, wanting her to have what she wants. Even if now, Casca is beginning to have that conflict, growing an attachment to Guts just before he subtly speaks about leaving. Casca goes to Griffith expressing regret about the danger she put everyone in by going into battle not feeling well, but Guts tries to wingman for her and just smacks her on her ass right into Griffith's arms, as Griffith is just relieved to have the two of them back safe and sound. Guts then walks away from the two of them, going to hang out with the rest of the Hawks, and Casca, right next to Griffith for the first time, isn't looking at him, but looking back at Guts. The final pages of this chapter teases the next events, introducing the Fortress of Doldry and an image of Boscone, whom Guts would eventually fight. This guy's a badass and super underrated, by the way. But this chapter stands out for many fans because of the symbolism of the campfire, of learning of Guts' want to leave the Hawks, and the connection between Guts and Casca growing ever stronger. It is one of my personal favorite scenes of the Golden Age, and even in the entire manga, and it has certainly earned its spot in the most iconic Berserk chapters. So let me know all of your thoughts about the Campfire of Dreams in the comments below. I'd be very curious to know them. What does it mean to you, and how do you feel it relates to the Berserk series as far as its themes and ideas? Also, keep in mind my thoughts and opinions are only my own, and I don't speak for what Miura truly intended, only how I view them. If you like this video and this idea for a series, comment which chapter you would like to see a specific video on next, and I'll choose the highest voted comment for the next installment. Other than that, guys, thank you a lot for watching this video. Like and subscribe, and check out the description for my merch store and Patreon if you'd like to support the channel on that deeper level, as well as all my social media links where you can follow me. Thank you again for all of your support. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time.